It's honestly wild that this hasn't been discussed more because the San Francisco 49ers received some seriously encouraging news just a few days ago, and now there's fresh information that adds even more depth to their optimistic outlook. The team finds itself in a surprisingly strong position as we look ahead to the upcoming season, and it's worth diving into exactly why that's the case. For a long time, the narrative around the 49ers offense, particularly their wide receiver group, has been wrapped up in uncertainty and concern, especially following the departure of Deebo Samuel. When Samuel left, many people immediately pegged that as the biggest loss the team faced this offseason, and there's some logic behind that considering his contributions over the years. But at the same time, it's not as clear-cut as it seems, and plenty of voices, including fans and analysts alike, have pushed back on the idea that the team's receiving corps is suddenly weakened beyond repair. Deebo Samuel, without question, was a key player for San Francisco. He put together some remarkable performances and was a dynamic weapon on both the ground and through the air. However, the reality is that he might have been on the backside of his prime, and that's a crucial factor to keep in mind when assessing the team's outlook. Despite losing such a significant player, the 49ers wide receiver group still ranked among the top 5 in the league according to recent evaluations. That ranking might sound surprising, especially if you remember how last season felt from a receiving standpoint. Brandon Ayuk struggled with injuries, and the overall ability to create separation was noticeably lacking. Even Jawin Jennings, who had a solid year and probably should have hit 1,000 yards, if not for some unfortunate circumstances, isn't necessarily the type of receiver who consistently breaks free from tight coverage. He's reliable, has great hands, and can make tough catches, but he isn't always a big threat to completely shake defenders off. That limited separation was one of the biggest challenges for the offense. Add to that the fact that George Kittle, arguably the team's most valuable pass catcher last year, isn't technically classified as a wide receiver because of his versatile role. While Kittle is an elite tight end and an absolutely critical piece, the offense's reliance on his unique skill set makes the wide receiver group's ranking a little more complicated. Christian McCaffrey's presence, or rather his absence for a good portion of last season, also affected the passing game significantly. Having a running back who is a genuine threat in the passing game changes how defenses have to play, opening things up for receivers. Without McCaffrey healthy and available, defenses could focus more on covering the receivers because the threat of a receiving running back wasn't as potent. J.P. Simpson filled in admirably, but primarily as a runner, which meant defenses could scheme with less worry about him catching passes out of the backfield. That kind of predictability made it easier for opponents to concentrate their energy on limiting the receiving corps. Now looking at Deebo Samuel, his production last year didn't meet expectations. There were flashes of what made him special, but overall he didn't perform at the level the team hoped for, either on the ground or through the air. And then he was traded to the Washington Commanders, which left a hole that wasn't filled by bringing in a veteran or a proven playmaker to take over his role. Instead, the 49ers have to rely on younger players stepping up, which naturally creates some questions about how well they'll execute Kyle Shanahan's complex offensive schemes. Without the veteran presence that Samuel represented, it's a waiting game, especially since even the timing of Samuel's return from injury is uncertain, with estimates ranging from as early as week 5 or 6 to possibly much later in the season. Some projections even suggested he might be placed on the physically unable to perform list during training camp. In the midst of all this uncertainty, new reports have surfaced placing the 49ers receiving corps surprisingly high for the upcoming season. A detailed analysis came out recently that ranked San Francisco's wide receivers among the top 5 in the league, a ranking that initially caught many off guard. The offseason saw some key moves, including trading Deebo Samuel and signing Demarcus Robinson, which has been viewed as a smart pickup. Additions like Ross Dwelley and Luke Farrell provide depth at the tight end position, though Farrell isn't expected to be a major receiving threat. Meanwhile, the team lost some veterans, with Eric Saubert signing elsewhere and Chris Conley retiring. Despite these changes and the significant departure of Samuel, who put up staggering numbers over the last 6 years with nearly 5,000 receiving yards, over 20 touchdowns, and over 1,000 rushing yards, the receiving group is still considered one of the best. It's worth highlighting how impressive Samuel's numbers were, especially maintaining an average of over 5 yards per carry and scoring 20 touchdowns on the ground alone during his time with the team. Losing that kind of production is never easy, but the fact remains that the 49ers receiving corps continues to rank highly in professional assessments. One of the most respected football analysts recently placed them 5th among all NFL teams, right behind squads like the Detroit Lions, Cincinnati Bengals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Philadelphia Eagles. While some might debate the order or the exact rankings, the overall consensus is that San Francisco still boasts a highly talented group even with the injuries and roster shifts they've endured. That's not to say there aren't legitimate arguments for other teams to be ranked above them. Teams like the Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Rams, Chicago Bears, and Houston Texans all have young players with potential who could make a significant leap this season. Still, when you look closely at the 49ers roster, the variety of threats they possess is impressive. Christian McCaffrey, despite dealing with injuries in recent years, has consistently posted some of the highest receiving grades among running backs, which bolsters the entire offense. George Kittle continues to be a force, ranking 2nd in receiving grades among tight ends last season. Ja'Wuan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall are also expected to play important roles, adding depth and versatility. One analyst even ranked the 49ers offense 8th overall heading into the season, praising the impact of George Kittle and pointing out that the team managed to finish in the top 10 despite being the most injured team in football last year. The numbers back that up. San Francisco was among the best teams in success rate, explosive plays, and efficiency metrics, even with a slew of setbacks. Kittle's ability to generate yards per target and yards per route run remains elite, making him a matchup nightmare. When you combine that with McCaffrey's ability to catch passes out of the backfield and the potential return of Ayuk to full health, the offense looks poised to regain its strength. Injuries limited Ayuk's contributions last year, but there's confidence he can bounce back and find his rhythm again. If the 49ers can field a healthy core with Kittle, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Jennings, and Pearsall, plus emerging younger players like Jacob Cowing, the offensive possibilities open up considerably. Shanahan's system thrives when he has multiple threats to stretch defenses horizontally and vertically. That kind of balance forces opponents into difficult decisions, prevents them from focusing on a single player, and creates opportunities for big plays. With all these pieces in place, it makes perfect sense to believe San Francisco can finish among the top offenses in the league again. The transition from initial skepticism to genuine excitement about the team's receiving corps is natural once you look beyond surface-level concerns and appreciate the talent and depth present. Training camp is just around the corner, with rookies reporting soon and the full squad following shortly after. It's the moment when all the off-season chatter turns into real action and everyone gets a clearer picture of how this group is coming together. The next few weeks will be crucial to see how these players gel in practice, how Shanahan's scheme adapts without Samuel, and how the young receivers step into bigger roles. With every new report and update, the narrative continues to tilt toward optimism. The 49ers offense, once viewed with hesitation, is shaping up to be a formidable unit ready to compete at the highest level again. As we move closer to the start of training camp, the excitement around the 49ers offense continues to build. The combination of returning players and new additions is creating a lot of buzz, and rightly so. When you look at the overall picture, it's clear that San Francisco isn't just hoping to get by. They're aiming to be one of the best defenses in the league again. The potential is there, and if injuries don't hold them back this time, they could be in for a really special season. One of the biggest keys to their success will be how quickly and effectively the younger receivers can step into larger roles. Without Deebo Samuel, the pressure falls on players like Brandon Ayuk, Ja'Wuan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall to produce more consistently. Ayuk's recovery from his ACL and MCL tears is something everyone is watching closely because he's shown flashes of brilliance and has the potential to be a game-changer when fully healthy. Shanahan's offense demands precision and timing, so the chemistry between these receivers and the quarterback will be critical early in the season. Christian McCaffrey's role cannot be overstated either. Even though he's technically a running back, his impact in the passing game elevates the entire offense. His ability to create mismatches and serve as a reliable target out of the backfield makes defenses stretched thin trying to cover every angle. Last season, when McCaffrey was limited, you could see how easier it became for defenses to key in on the wide receivers, which made life more difficult for San Francisco's passing attack. Getting McCaffrey back to full health and integrating him seamlessly with the rest of the offense will be a major factor in their success. George Kittle remains a cornerstone of this offense. His production as a tight end is elite, and he consistently ranks near the top in yards per route run and yards per target. That kind of efficiency is rare, especially at his position, and it gives the 49ers a versatile weapon who can do damage both as a blocker and as a receiver. His ability to stretch the field vertically and win contested catches forces defenses to adjust their schemes, which opens up opportunities for other players. Kittle's leadership and presence on the field are also invaluable, especially as the younger receivers grow into their roles. One interesting aspect to watch this season is how Kyle Shanahan adjusts his play calling to reflect the new roster. Shanahan is known for his creativity and adaptability, and losing a player like Samuel means he'll have to get more inventive with personnel groupings and route combinations. The young receivers might see more targets, but the design of the offense might also shift to emphasize shorter, quicker passes that allow them to gain yards after the catch. Shanahan's system thrives on versatility, so expect to see a lot of motion misdirection and plays designed to exploit mismatches. That could be a blessing in disguise, giving the younger guys chances to shine in space and make plays. Depth will also play a huge role in San Francisco's offensive success. Injuries are part of the game, and last season's struggles made it clear that having reliable backups ready to step in is crucial. The addition of players like Demarcus Robinson adds veteran experience and stability to the wide receiver room. Even though he might not be a star, having a dependable target who can run crisp routes and make clutch catches is important over the course of a long season. Players like Jacob Cowing also represent the future, and their development in training camp and preseason games will be key indicators of the offense's overall health and potential. Another factor to consider is the quarterback situation. While the quarterback's name might not have been explicitly discussed here, the chemistry between the QB and the receiving cores will be a determining factor in how effective the offense is. Accurate throws, timing, and the ability to read defenses quickly all play into the success of receivers, especially in a system as detailed as Shanahan's. The quarterback's comfort with each target, especially the young players stepping up, will directly impact the rhythm of the passing game. Looking at the bigger picture, the 49ers offense is shaping up to be a balanced and multi-dimensional unit. The combination of elite tight end play, a dynamic running back who excels in the passing game, a stable group of receivers, and creative play calling makes for a potent formula. While some questions remain, primarily health and consistency, the potential to be among the league's top offenses is very real. If everything clicks, San Francisco could surprise a lot of people and push deep into the playoffs. Ultimately, the story of this offense is one of resilience and adaptability. They've faced challenges with injuries and roster turnover, but have managed to maintain a high level of talent and production. The offseason moves, combined with the expected return to health of key players, have created a sense of optimism that wasn't as strong last year. Fans and analysts alike should be paying close attention to how this group comes together in the coming weeks, because the groundwork is being laid for what could be an exciting season ahead. The next few months will reveal a lot, but right now, the signs are pointing to a team ready to compete at the highest level once again. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling out of Santa Clara, painting a rather dramatic picture of wide receiver Brandon Ayuk's current relationship with the San Francisco 49ers. While nothing has been confirmed by either party, the whispers suggest that contract negotiations have hit a major snag, possibly leading to a complete breakdown. The word on the street is that Ayuk, frustrated and reportedly livid with the team's offers, might be pushing for a move, potentially refusing to play another down for the reigning NFC champions. Sources close to the situation, who wish to remain anonymous, are hinting at an explosive turn of events in recent discussions. It's gone beyond a simple disagreement over money. One insider reportedly stated Ayuk feels deeply disrespected by what the 49ers have put on the table. He believes his value to the team, especially after his stellar performances, isn't being adequately recognized. This alleged outburst from the star receiver could throw a significant wrench into the 49ers' meticulously crafted plans for the upcoming season. Ayuk has been a pivotal component of their high-octane offense, consistently making crucial catches and stretching defenses. The possibility of him demanding a trade or even a holdout would undoubtedly send shockwaves through the locker room and the NFL at large. While the 49ers front office has remained tight-lipped, the silence itself is fueling speculation. The longer this rumored impasse continues, the more intense the chatter becomes about Ayuk potentially seeking greener pastures elsewhere. Could a new destination be on the horizon For the talented wideout, only time will tell if these burgeoning rumors hold any truth, but for now the future of Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco appears to be hanging by a very thin thread. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.